So it looks like we got an update from Stephanie White on Caitlin Clark's status, going forward after this latest groin injury. And I want to listen to it. And I also want to talk about what I think a lot of...
Great to be here with you guys today. Where has Stephanie White's best friend, Carolyn Peck, been? And where has the Indiana Fever are a more dangerous team without Caitlin Clark conversation?
Kind of feeling, especially with Stephanie White and the Fever organization on the heels of the DeWanna Bonner situation, to where they feel like they cannot trust what...
How come once the Indiana Fever suddenly stop that 5-game win streak, lose 3 of their last 4, how come Carolyn Peck has suddenly stopped showing up on TV?
Stephanie White just made comments about Chloe Bibby's benching that fans are calling nasty, and Caitlin Clark was visibly stunned on the court. But here's the thing, this isn't just about one player sitting, it's about whether the Fever are sabotaging themselves from the inside. Why does it feel like White's coaching is targeting her own offense rather than the opponent's defense? Stay with me, because once you hear how Bibby's absence reshapes Clark's entire rookie experience, you'll see why fans think this is more than strategy, it's personal. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Caitlin Clark isn't just trying to outscore other teams. She's fighting something even tougher, her own sideline. That's the part that shocks people. You'd think her biggest challenge would be guarding vets or adjusting to the speed of the league. But when you actually watch the Fever play, it feels like her struggles are being designed right in the huddle. Imagine a rookie putting in the work, breaking double teams, pushing the pace, creating chances, but instead of help from teammates on the floor, she looks to the bench and sees shooters staying seated. That's where the real frustration sets in. At first glance, the narrative is easy to accept. Indiana has a young roster, they're still finding chemistry, and they've had more than a few tough matchups out of the gate. Fans could look at the loss column and chalk it up to inexperience. But the pattern isn't just about opponents. There's a clear piece missing in the way the Fever set up their lineups.
The organization is telling them. I actually had a question in my comment section on the last video where somebody did express about, feeling like they could not trust the organization.
Of the Indiana Fever are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. Why has that suddenly stopped? The Indiana Fever just lost back-to-back games against the Dallas Wings, 19-0 run.
I think a lot of this comes down to the organizations wanting to protect themselves, protect the information, and don't want the actual truth out there. And this is not exclusive to the Fever.
18-7 to start the fourth quarter. Lost the lead, lost the game. We just lost back-to-back games against teams we had no business losing to, even without Caitlin Clark.
And you start to see the fingerprints of coaching choices all over the outcomes. Players look like they're battling uphill, but it isn't always the other jersey making it so difficult. Stephanie White's philosophy has become the breaking point. On paper, she wants defensive toughness, but in execution, it looks like tunnel vision. Instead of supporting Clark with floor spacers, she traps her in these rough lineups where defenses swarm and there's nobody to punish them from deep. It isolates Clark in the worst way. A rookie point guard is already under constant defensive pressure. Add on 2, sometimes 3 defenders collapsing on her, and suddenly even the simplest pass looks like a gamble. Then where's Chloe Bibby? Not in the game, despite the fact Bibby brings exactly what those moments need. Picture this. Clark drives to the elbow, 2 defenders close in, a third cuts off her passing lane. She has nowhere to go. On the sideline sits Bibby, who has hit big shots in past minutes she's been given. A quick 3, spark in transition, and the game's tempo flips. But Bibby doesn't check in. Those scoring bursts are wasted possibilities, while the Fever's offense looks like it's stuck in slow motion. Fans pick up on it. The whole arena feels tense, and you can even hear the frustration. Boos breaking out right when substitutions take players like Bibby out before she even gets rhythm.
This is not exclusive to the WNBA. I follow pro wrestling and the inner workings of it, and seeing how companies deal with stuff like concussions. They don't let that stuff get out to the public.
And some people might say, well, the silver lining is we have the Connecticut Sun coming up on Sunday. Connecticut Sun game tomorrow. Fair enough. My response, that is a winnable game. Furthermore, that is a team...
Yes, that would be a non-answer. So my mentality on trying to decipher what organizations want to tell you is who does this information benefit?
Without Caitlin Clark, not only have we already lost to the Connecticut Sun, but we lost to them on our home court. We lost to the Connecticut Sun. So how can we even be so confident?
White explained the decision as defensive matchups. That's the only reasoning that came out. But here's the part that doesn't add up. If defense is the only focus, then how do you explain nights where the offense can barely scrape past 65 or 70 points? You can't defend your way out of a drought like that. When shots won't fall and no one is stretching the floor, Clark's job turns from tough to impossible. Even the most unselfish player can't conjure assists when teammates are crammed together on the arc, afraid to pull the trigger. The reaction from the fan base has exploded. Online chatter accuses White of sabotaging her own star's growth. Clips circulate after games, showing open shooters benched while Clark shoulders every possession. You scroll through comments and see constant frustration. People saying things like, "What's the point of drafting a generational passer if you take away her targets?" And during games, the noise gets louder. Fans recognize when their floor general is stranded. They want to see shots come from somewhere other than Clark's hands. The numbers back it up too. Look at spacing data. When Bibby's on the floor, Clark has a few extra feet to operate. Drives turn cleaner, assist chances jump, and turnovers drop. Without her, everything tightens. Defenses collapse into the paint, force Clark to settle, and possessions end in forced shots.
If it does not benefit the fans to know this, aside from making us feel good or knowing exactly what's happening with our favorite player or a different player on the team, the organization is looking out for themselves.
How can we be so confident that we are going to take care of business against the Connecticut Sun? Folks, this time last week, I was in San Diego. The Indiana Fever were a 5th seed. Fast forward 1 week later.
That's why they can't be necessarily transparent with every single thing. Now, there's stuff they can't run from. They knew Caitlin Clark was going to miss, 2.5 weeks with the groin.
Stephanie White has done nothing to calm anybody's concerns surrounding this team. The only thing Stephanie White has done is failed to take accountability.
It's not rocket science. You put in another capable shooter, you loosen the defense. That rhythm and spread is what Clark thrived on in college, feeding wings who could punish teams that helped too much. Without it, we watch her generate energy with no outlet. So here's the realization. Bibby's benching isn't a simple tactical decision. It symbolizes the larger clash between White's stubborn coaching style and the natural flow of the offense. It's not ability keeping Bibby off the floor, it's control. And that control is stifling the very thing the Fever invested in, a playmaker who can lift the whole franchise. The big question now isn't whether Clark can score. It's whether she can rise above an internal system that seems built to trip her up before she even gets started. Because if not, her rookie year might get defined by battles inside her own locker room, not just the scoreboards. Chloe Bibby sitting isn't just a minor coaching tweak. It feels like a statement about where this team stands. Either the Fever build around Clark with the right support, or they choke their own offense before it can even grow. That's the bigger picture. The so-called villain in Clark's first season might not even be wearing an opposing jersey. It could be the coach making these choices right next to her. But what do you think? Are Stephanie White's moves just tactics or something personal? Drop your thoughts below and tell me how you see this shaping the Fever's season.